Good day. My name is Teresa Fredericks from Growing Businesses Using Projects, bringing you yet another video, this time on MS Project. It's a tutorial series for beginners, and this is part 2. Here we'll be inputting project information, creating and adjusting the calendar, entering tasks using the WBS and process groups format, and determining the schedule. And the good news is that there's a downloadable exercise which we will be doing and which you can download and work with us. So let's get started. We are on the start screen of MS Project. I'm working in 2023, but if you are from 2016 up, you can follow with us. Even some of the earlier versions can follow with us. So we're going to start a new project, and we're going to be clicking blank project. And before we go further, I want to save it by the name of this project, which is, so I'm going to go into browse and I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it Graham Network Installation Project. And I'm going to click save. And then to get back to the back end, I'm going to just go on file and come back because we want to start inputting project information. So we're going to go into info and go across to project information. And before we get into advanced, we're going to put the date of the project. The date is the 3rd of April. And we are scheduling from start. Start is already selected. And then we're going to go into advanced properties because we want to put the project information in. So we're going to fill this with the information you are now seeing on your screen. And then we're going to click OK. You must click OK to save it. Next, we want to go into a very important area, which is options, and which is found at the bottom here. You click options and the options dialog box appears. Here we are putting the information specific to our exercise. Our exercise, the date format is supposed to be month, day, and year. It's like that. If we wanted to change it, we can just click this triangle. Important here is to show the start screen. It is already clicked. Then we go into display, and we want to change the currency to Trinidad and Tobago currency because that's the currency for the project. We have no more changes here, but remember to have the entry bar ticked so that you can actually enter information on it. Schedule. The schedule complies with our project. The week starts on a Sunday, but there are other options. Our fiscal year in January, but again, there are other options you can click. Our default time is 8 to 5, which is the default time of MS Project. This gives an 8-hour working day with 1 hour lunch. So 8 by 5 is 40 hours per week or 20 hours per month. Normally, we cater for things like holidays and days not spent on the project. So this is a good average. No more changes here, but realize that because we named the project, it is coming up here. Our project should be auto schedule. Why this is important is because when we make one change, MS Project would make subsequent changes for us. So our project would always be up to date. We are scheduling from the project start date. Our duration is in days, but there are other options. For instance, if your project was to make a cake, you may want to schedule in minutes or hours. Work is entered in hours, that's good for us, but our default task time is fixed duration, so we make that change. It's important at this time that new tasks are effort driven, remains unchecked. And that's it for the schedule. Then we go into save, and we have it how we want it for our project. If you want it to be less, you just go down. But we like 5 minutes. And advanced, we have some changes to make here because we want the default standard rate to be 20, so we're going to input that. And we want the default overtime rate to be 25, so we're going to make that change. We are also told in our project that we want minimum display times. So minutes is going to be M, hours is going to be H, days is going to be D, week is W, month M to differentiate from minutes, and years Y. We have no more changes to make here, but I want to draw your attention to this. That should be on 0. Tasks are critical if slack is less than or equal to 0. This is important for us to calculate the critical part, which you will get to know more about soon. You must click OK so that all your changes specific to the project are saved. We want project calendar. So you go into project and you go into change working time. And this box comes up. There are three calendars. There's the project standard calendar, which is 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. There is the 24-hour calendar, which is 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. And there is the night shift calendar, which is 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. However, our project is more in line with the timing of the standard. So what we want is a copy of the standard. So we're going to quick create new calendar, and it's asking us if we want a copy of the standard, and this is what we want, and we're going to name it by the name of the project, which is, so we have called it Graham Network Installation Project, and it's a copy of the standard, so it will carry the times of the standard, and we're going to click OK, and then we have to click OK here too. However, that does not make it the project calendars yet. Until we do this step, we go back into project and we go into project information. Here is where the main project information is kept. For instance, we have the start date of the 3rd of April, but this calendar is still reading standard. So we have to find the calendar we just created, and then we have to click OK, and then it will become the calendar of the project. So let's continue to work in calendars. And we're going to go back into project, and we're going to go back into change working time, because we want now to actually put in holidays and non-working days. So we go into exceptions, because this is going to be exception from the normal times of our calendar. And the first exception we're going to be putting in is Eid al-Fitr, and that is on the 10th of April. Our next holiday is Indian Arrival Day. And that is on the 30th of May. So we go here again and we go to May, and we get to the 30th. The next holiday is Labor Day, and that is on the 19th of June. So we go to 19th of June. And we click it. And we will also put in the training day, because it's a day the team is not working on the project, and that is in April, and it's the 26th of April. And we have to click OK to make sure these things register on our project calendar. We have entered the last but very important part of our exercise, where we are actually going to be putting in the task and coming up with our schedule. However, we need to set it up properly. And to do that, you go into format and you go right across, and you will realize there's something called outline number. You click that, so you will get WBS format. There's another thing called project summary task. You click that, so you will get one task that tells you the start and end of the whole project. And summary tasks will highlight the deliverables, so you click that also. So when you look, you realize Graham Network Installation Project. This project summary task has been created. What we need to do now is to cut and paste all the other tasks into this project. I have cut and pasted all the tasks into this project. However, I need to explain certain things. You're seeing a lot of 1D question. Anytime you see that in project, it's an estimate, because we haven't put in the actual times as yet. All right. Now you only put in the times with respect to the subtasks. But I had promised you that we'll be setting it up according to the process groups. So we're going to do some insertions. And go and finalize design, and you right click and you'll get insert task. And the first task we're going to be inserting is called planning. And planning has under it some subtasks. Right now it looks as if everything is together, but we're going to indent everything from finalize design, order equipment, hire wiring contractor. We're going to go in task, and we're going to get the indent, and you realize that WBS has started forming. Similarly, we'll go by receive equipment, we'll right click and we'll insert a task, and that task we're going to call execution. Now, execution looks as if it's under planning, but it is really one of the main areas. So we have to click on it and we have to go back into task, and now we are going to be outdented. And you realize it's now in line with planning. So what falls under execution? We are taking all the tasks up to network test and we are calling that execution. So we go back into task and we indent those. Now we have one final insertions to do, closing a heading and main deliverable by outdenting it and then indenting everything under it. So we have our WBS setup. But before we leave, I want to create, we can start with closing and what we call a milestone, which is going to be closing complete. And that is going to carry 0 because it is a milestone. And similarly, we're going to execution. Above execution, we're going to insert planning a task that we're going to call planning complete. And that is going to be another milestone. And above closing, we're going to insert a task and we're going to call that execution complete. We're going to talk about why a little later on. I have gone in and put in the durations. Now we normally put the durations in the task and not the headings. The headings take their duration from the task below them. So finalize design, I wanted 5 days, and so I used the levers. If I wanted 4, I could come down. If I wanted 6, I could go up, but I wanted 5. So that is one way of putting in durations. The next way is that you actually type it in. So if I wanted 8 days, I could have done it like this and it would have become 8 days. But what I want is really, I want 6 days here. So that's the 6 days. So those are the 2 ways you put in duration. Either you type it in or you use the levers to decide. Now, I want to tell you, even if it's a day and it's written as 1 day with a question mark, you still have to use the levers or type it in. And if it's 0, you still have to use the levers and put it in. Okay? All right. Let me tell you how I got the predecessors. If you're not seeing the predecessor column, just come here and you will get it. What is the predecessor? It's something that comes before something else. So finalize design is the first of the task. So there is no predecessor for it. So that we go to order equipment. Order equipment has a predecessor, finalize design. So we click here and we are looking for finalize design. This is one way of putting in the predecessors. The other way is to double click. The task information will come up. It's telling you you're looking for the predecessor of hire wiring contractor. You go here and what we're looking for is order equipment. So you click here. It's a finish to start because all in tasks in this project is finished to start. You click OK and you realize the Gantt chart is forming. Planning complete. What is the predecessor? Hire wiring contractor. That is the one coming before. However, receive equipment, you cannot link back to execution. You have to link back to the previous milestone. This is why we put them in, so that you are going here and you're looking for planning complete. And you are clicking. Similarly, pre-install wiring. The predecessor is going to be receive equipment. So you can go ahead and finish. This is the completed schedule. It is 44 days, planning is 16, execution 25, closing 3. The project starts on the 3rd of April and ends on the 6th of June. Take a snapshot. Nice having you along. Congratulate yourself. If you like my content, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe.